Hare Krishna, greetings everybody. So we're going to continue with our reading of Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami's Chaitanya Charitamrta. We're now on Antya Lila, the last part. We've just last time read obviously the first chapter of Antya Lila, so now we're on the second chapter. So in the previous chapter, we had Rupa's second meeting, Rupa Goswami's second meeting with Gauranga Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. And he stayed with Haridas Thakur, and every day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to visit Haridas Thakur after the Upalabhoga ceremony. And so Rupa was there, and they met again, and they had some talk, conversation, how are you, and all that sort of thing. And then Mahaprabhu wanted to hear him recite some of his poetry of his two dramas. So most of the chapter is taken up with Rupa Goswami citing verses from his dramas, which are Vidagdha Madhava and Lalita Madhava. And then on another day, Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya, brings Rai Ramananda and Sarvabhauma and other bhaktas to also come and listen to Rupa Goswami's poetry. And it's interesting because it says there that Mahaprabhu was thinking, testing them, testing Ramananda Rai and Sarvabhauma to see if they would be maybe jealous of Rupa. Anyway, that's something you don't always notice, but it is there. So then begins Rai Ramananda begins asking questions of Rupa Goswami about his plays and to cite examples of certain aspects of the dramatical art, how he's done his prologue and invocation to the deity. And and both the plays have invocations to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and when he recited those, Mahaprabhu was not pleased to hear his own glorification like that. Anyway, so that's how that chapter goes on. So now we're going to begin chapter 2 of the Antya Lila. So interestingly enough, this chapter begins with the invocation that we all use every time. So I'll just do it once, but this time reading it from the actual text. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha. I bow to the revered lotus feet of my Guru and to my Gurus and to Vaishnavas and to Sri Rupa with Jiva, with Raghunath Das and with his elder brother. That's Sanatana. I bow to Sri Krishna Chaitanya together with his followers and to Nityananda and Advaita and to the feet of Sri Radha and Krishna and to their companions Lalita and Vishakha. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrindo. Glory, glory to Sri Chaitanya. Glory to Nityananda. Glory to Advaita Chandra and the hosts of Gaura Bhaktas. The Gaura Avatara was to save all people, and the source of that salvation is of three kinds. The darshana of his own person, and to the Bhakta Jiva who is worthy, sometimes he gave inspiration, and sometimes by appearance. He saved almost everyone by the darshan of his personal presence. He possessed the body of Nakula Brahmachari. He appeared before Pradyumna Nrsimhananda for the salvation of the people is the nature of Ishvara. He carried all the world across by darshana of his presence, and whoever saw him once was fulfilled. The bhaktas of the land of Gauda came every year, and again returned to Gauda after having met with Prabhu. And the people from many countries came to Jagannath, and when they saw the feet of Chaitanya, they were fulfilled. The people of Saptadvipa and Navakanda, and the Devas, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, in the guise of men, came. And when they had seen Prabhu, they became Vaishnavas, and all sang Krishna and danced in an ecstasy of prema. In this way, he saved the three worlds by darshan. There were many family people who were not able to come there, and Prabhu, to save all those, and those of all countries, possessed the bodies of jivas as worthy bhaktas. Through those jivas, he manifested his own Shakti, and at the darshan of them, people in all countries became Vaishnavas. By this kind of inspiration, he saved the three worlds. Such was a possession which happened in Gauda. Let me survey it. There was at Ambuya Mulaka one Nakula, a brahmachari. He was a most devout Vaishnava, most prominent. It was in his mind to save the people of the Gauda country, and Prabhu possessed the heart of Nakula. Nakula was as if starstruck, controlled by prema, and he became mad, laughing and weeping and dancing and singing. Tears and trembling and stupefaction and sweating, these were the sattvika signs, and he constantly danced in prema and shouted loudly. Such was the beauty of the golden color of his body, and such was his constant possession by prema, that all the people in Gauda came to see it. Whoever saw him, he said to him, "Speak the name of Krishna." And at the sight of him, people became violent in praying. The body of Nakula is possessed by Chaitanya. When he heard this, Shivananda came in doubt. He wanted to test it. So remaining outside, he reflected in this way. If he by himself were to cause me to say, "I am here," and if he by himself would repeat my Ishtamantra, then I would know that he is possessed by Chaitanya. And thus reflecting, Shivananda remained at a distance. There were countless people there, coming and going, and in the crush of people, no one could see anything. The possessed brahmachari said, "Shivananda is there at a distance. Some of you will go and summon him." So the people ran to the four directions, calling, "Shivananda! Who is Shivananda?" The brahmachari summons you. When he heard this, Shivananda Sen was astonished and was overjoyed, and came, and making obeisance, he sat near him. The brahmachari said, "You are doubtful. Listen carefully, and that doubt will be removed. Your Gaura Gopala mantra has 4 syllables. Abandon the disbelief that is in your heart." Then Shivananda Sen was convinced, and he paid him all kinds of respect and devotion. Thus is the unknowable power of Mahaprabhu. Now hear of his appearance. He was in the house of Sati, and at the dance of Nityananda, and at the kirtana of Srivasa, and in the house of Raghava. And in these 4 places, Prabhu was always present, for it is the true nature of Prabhu to be controlled by prema When he manifested himself before Nrsimhananda, he ate food there. Listen carefully to this. There was a nephew of Shivananda whose name was Sri Kanta Sen, and because of the mercy of Prabhu, he was very fortunate. Each year he would first come alone there, his heart being most anxious to see Prabhu. And Mahaprabhu, when he saw him, was very gracious to him, and he remained with Prabhu for 2 months. Then Prabhu gave him a command to go to Gouda. Forbid the bhaktas to come here. This year I shall go there myself, and there I shall meet with Advaita and all the rest. And say to Shivananda that I, in this month of Posha, will certainly come unexpectedly to his house. Jagadananda is there, and he will give me food. Tell them all that this year they should not come. So Sri Kanta came and spread the news in Gouda, and when they heard it, the hearts of the bhaktas were delighted. Acharya Goswami was leaving, but he remained, and Shivananda and Jagadananda waited expectantly. When the month of Posha came, both made preparations, and each day they waited expectantly until the evening. The month passed in this way, and Goswami did not come, and Jagadananda and Shivananda were very sorrowful. Then, unexpectedly, Nrsimhananda came there, and they both greeted him and sat him down in the place. Seeing their sorrow, then Nrsimhananda said, "Why do you both look so joyless?" So Shivananda told him everything. Prabhu told us that he would come. Why is he not come? And when he heard this, Brahmachari said, "Be at ease. I shall bring him on the 3rd day." The two knew the power of his prema, and they were certain that he would bring Prabhu there. Pradyumna Brahmachari was his own name. Gauradhama had given him the name Nrsimhananda. So after having meditated for 2 days, he said to Shivananda, "I have brought Prabhu to Pani Hati Gram. Tomorrow at noon time he will be in my house. Bring things to cook, and I shall give him food. Then I shall bring him quickly here. Be certain of that. Have no doubt at all. Whatever is wanted, arrange it diligently. Hear me. Afterwards, I shall cook it very quickly. So bring materials for cooking, whatever is wanted." And Shivananda brought there whatever was asked for. From the morning he cooked unceasingly, and he made many kinds of food, various curries and pitta and kshira. He spread out separate food for Jagannatha and made another meal for Chaitanya. And he also laid a separate place for his Ishtadeva Nrsimha. And having presented these to the three, he went outside and meditated. And he saw that Chaitanya Goswami had come suddenly and was sitting there. He had eaten all the 3 portions, and there was nothing at all left. Pradyumna was delirious with joy, and streams of tears fell from his eyes. Then he shouted, "Alas! What have you done? What have you done? You are one with Jagannath and might eat his food, but why do you eat the food of Nrsimha? Today Nrsimha will fast, and when the Thakura remains fasting, how can the servant live?" Even though when he saw the eating, he was delighted in his heart, for the sake of Nrsimha, he showed grief externally. Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, Chaitanya Goswami, and there is no division between Nrsimha and Jagannatha. Pradyumna had a deep desire to know this, and to show him, Prabhu ate the food. So having eaten, Prabhu went to Panihati, for he was very satisfied, seeing the array of curries. Shivananda said, "Why did you shout?" And he said, "See the conduct of your Prabhu. Alone he ate what had been prepared for 3 people, and Jagannatha and Nrsimha are fasting." When he heard this, There was doubt in the mind of Shivananda as to whether he spoke in a fit of prema or whether he spoke the truth. When the brahmachari said again to Shivananda, "Again bring preparations and let me cook for Nrsimha." And again Shivananda brought the articles of food, and having cooked them, he offered them to Nrsimha. Now, at the end of the rainy season, Shivananda went with the bhaktas to Nilachala and saw the feet of Prabhu. And one day in the assembly, Prabhu was carrying on conversation, and he began to speak of the qualities of Nrsimhananda. In the last rainy season, in Posha, he fed me, and never have I eaten such delicious curries. When he heard this, the bhaktas were, when they heard this, the bhaktas were astonished, and conviction was born in the mind of Shivananda. In just this way, he always ate at the house of Sachi, and at the house of Srivas, he watched the kirtan, and he came again and watched the dancing of Nityananda, and always appeared in the house of Raghava. Where there is intense prema, Gaura Prabhu is there, controlled by prema, and where he is controlled by prema, he gives darshan. Who can tell the limits of the prema of Shivananda? Controlled by his prema, Gaura returns again and again. Thus, then, have been described the appearances of Gaura, and he who hears it knows the power of Chaitanya. In Purushottama, Bhagavan Acharya lived near Prabhu. He was a most devout Vaishnava, most learned and cultivated. His mind was seized by the Sakya Bhava, and he was an avatar of a Gopa, and he was most friendly with Swarupa Goswami. Single-mindedly, he took refuge at the feet of Chaitanya, and from time to time he offered invitations to Prabhu. He cooked rice and various curries at his house, and he would bring Prabhu there alone and feed him. His father was much concerned with the affairs of the world, and his name was Satananda Khan. The Acharya was indifferent to worldly things and was an outstanding ascetic. His younger brother was called Gopala Bhattacharya, and he had studied Vedanta at Kashi and had come to live with him. The Acharya introduced him to Prabhu, and Prabhu, indwelling in men, was not very happy in his heart. But because he was a relative of the Acharya, outwardly he behaved fondly. Prabhu had no joy except in Krishna Bhakti. One day, the Acharya said to Swarupa Goswami, "Gopala has finished his study of Vedanta and has come here. Let us all go together and discuss the Bhashya with him." In anger, born of love, Swarup said to him, "Your mind has been destroyed by your association with Gopala, that a desire has grown in you to listen to the Mayavada. Are you a Vaishnava that you would listen to this Bhashya which has to do with the physical? Have you abandoned the bhava of the service of that which is to be served? And consider yourself as Ishvara, he who is a great Bhagavata, the wealth of whose heart is Krishna. If he listens to the Mayavada, even his heart can be turned." And the Acharya said, "Krishna is established in the hearts of all, and the Bhashya is not able to turn the hearts of all." Swarup said, "Even if one listens to the Mayavad, one only hears Chit Brahma, Maya, false. And Ishvara is imaginary knowledge on the part of the jiva, and everything is unknown. The hearing of such is thus bursts the ears and the hearts of bhaktas." Ashamed and afraid, the Acharya remained silent, and the next day he sent Gopal back to his own country. One day the Acharya extended an invitation to Prabhu, And he prepared rice in his house, various curries and various curries. There was a Kirtaniya of Prabhu named Chota Haridas. The Acharya called him and said to him, "Go to the place of Sikhi Mahiti's sister in my name and beg of her a mana of Oraiya rice." The name of Mahiti's sister was Madhavi Devi. She was old and ascetic and a great Vaishnava. Prabhu wrote that the followers of Radha Thakurani in the world were 3½ people: Swarupa Goswami, Rai Ramananda, Shiki Mahiti, and the half with his sister. So Haridas begged the rice and brought it from her place, and when he saw it, the Acharya was delighted. In affection, he prepared those foods that Prabhu loved best: deula, prasada, balls of ginger, lime, and citrus fruit with salt. And at midday, Prabhu came and sat down to eat, and seeing the sari rice, he asked the Acharya, "Where did you get this most excellent rice?" And the Acharya replied that he had begged of it of Madhavi Devi. Prabhu said, "Who went to beg it?" And the Acharya told him that it had been Chota Haridas. Praising the rice, Prabhu ate it. And when he went to his own home, he gave this instruction to Govinda: "From today, you will respect this order. Do not allow Chota Haridas to come here." And when the door was forbidden him, Haridas became very saddened, and no one could tell him why the door had been closed against him. For 3 days, Haridas fasted, and Swarupa and some others went and asked Mahaprabhu, "Prabhu, what offense has Haridas committed? Why have you shut the door against him? He is fasting." Prabhu said, "An ascetic has had conversation with a woman. I cannot look upon his face. The senses irresistibly cleave to worldly things. A woman carved of wood steals the mind even of a Muni." And so it says in the Bhagavad. Even with mother, sister, or daughter, one should not sit too close, for the senses are strong and pull even wise men. End of quote. All those who are small jivas make false renunciation. Losing their senses, they wander about, conversing with women. So saying, Prabhu went inside, and seeing the intensity of the Goswami, all was silent. The next day, all were together at the feet of Prabhu, and they petitioned him regarding Haridas. "It is a small offense, Prabhu. Be gracious to him. Now he has learned and will not offend again." Prabhu said, "My mind is not controlled by me. An ascetic who talks with women does not see me. All of you go to your own duties. Leave this idle talk. If you speak of it again, you will see me here no more." And when they heard this, they all put their hands over their ears, and they got up and went to their own duties. And Mahaprabhu went to perform the midday rituals. There is no understanding the Leela of Mahaprabhu. The next day, they all went to Paramananda Puri, and they entreated him, "Persuade Prabhu to be propitious." So Puri Goswami came alone to Prabhu. Having greeted him, Prabhu seated him respectfully. He asked, "What is your wish? Why have you come?" And he entreated him, "For your grace to Haridas." Hearing this, Mahaprabhu said, "Listen, Goswami. Remain in this place, Goswami, with all the Vaishnavas. By your leave, I go to Alalanath. I shall stay there alone, with only Govinda as my companion." And so saying, Prabhu summoned Govinda, and making obeisance to Puri, he got up and went away. Puri Goswami ran madly after Prabhu and pleaded with him to remain at home. What you wish, you do, for you are the non-dependent Ishvara, and who is able to say anything to stop you? All your work has been for the good of the people, and I do not know all that is in the depths of your heart. So saying, Puri Goswami went to his own place, and all the bhaktas went to the place of Haridas. Swarupa Goswami said, Listen, Haridas, we all speak for your good. Have faith. Prabhu has fallen into stubbornness, but he is the non-dependent Ishvara. Someday he will be merciful, for his heart is full of mercy. You also have been obstinate, and that makes his obstinacy grow. So bathe and eat, and the anger will dissipate itself. So saying, they had him bathe and eat, and having encouraged him, they went to their own homes. When Prabhu was going to have darshana of Jagannath, Haridas saw him, but remained at a distance. Mahaprabhu is an ocean of mercy. Who is able to understand? He punishes his loving bhakta to make him understand Dharma. Seeing this, all the bhaktas were terrified, and they gave up conversation with women even in their dreams. In this way, Haridas passed a year, and still there was no favor towards him in the heart of Mahaprabhu. And at the end of one night, bowing to Prabhu, he left for Prayaga, telling no one anything about it. He was resolved to gain the feet of Prabhu, and he entered the Triveni and took his life. And at that time, in his divine body, he came to the place of Prabhu. Gaining the mercy of Prabhu, he remained invisible, there, invisible, in the body of a Gandharva. He sang songs. He sang songs to Prabhu in the night, and no one else heard. One day, Mahaprabhu asked his bhaktas, Where is Haridas? Bring him to me. They all replied, On the anniversary day, Haridas got up in the night and went away, and no one knew. When he heard this, Mahaprabhu remained smiling a little, and all the bhaktas wondered in their hearts. One day, Jagadananda, Swarupa, Govinda, Kashishwara, Shankara, Damodara, and Mukunda were going to bathe in the sea, and they heard from a great distance the sound like Haridas singing. They saw no man, they only heard the sweet song, and Govinda and the others altogether decided that Haridas had taken poison and killed himself, and that for that sin he had become a Brahma Rakshasa. For they saw no form, they only heard the song. But Swarup said, This is a false conclusion. For all his life he sang Krishna Kirtan and served Prabhu. He is a vessel of the mercy of Prabhu and has died at Kshetra. He has not had a bad end, but a good one. We shall certainly know afterwards this trick of Prabhu. A Vaishnava came to Navadvip from Prayaga, and he told everyone there the news of Haridas, how in his determination he had entered the waters of the Triveni. When they heard it, the minds of Srivas and the others were astonished. At the end of the rains, Shivananda took all the bhaktas and joyfully went to meet Prabhu. When Srivas asked, Where is Haridas? Prabhu answered, Man enjoys the fruits of his own actions. Then Srivas told him the story, how resolutely he had entered the Triveni. And when he heard it, Prabhu smiled and said with a delighted heart, He has made this penance for seeing a woman. Swarupa and the others then considered this among them. By the power of the Triveni, Haridas has gained the feet of Prabhu. Such was the Leela which the son of Sati did, and when they hear it, the ears and hearts of bhaktas are soothed. Because of his own mercy, people learned renunciation, the cause of the manifestation of profound love to his own bhaktas, the greatness of the places of pilgrimage, the companionship of his soul to his own bhaktas. Prabhu accomplished many things in one Leela. The Leela of Chaitanya is sweet and profound as the sea. People do not understand. Only steadfast bhaktas understand. Have faith and listen to the actions of Chaitanya. Do not engage in philosophical discussion of them, for in such argument arises confusion. Krishna Das, whose hope and faith lie at the feet of Rupa and Raghunath, tells of the nectar of the acts of Chaitanya, the Chaitanya Charitamrta.
Oh my goodness me. Wow. Wow. Woo. Haribol.
Jai Shri Hari, Jai Gaura, Jai Nikai. So who's going to take over?
Woo. That's your best recitation ever.
Oh, Jai.
Oh,
So, Ati Stuti. You went, if you praise me too much, then you diminish all my good luck.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Here's Madhava Guna. There the camera's on. You ready, Guna?
We
Antya
are
Lila,
waiting for you,
chapter
Guna.
3.
Ah, there she is. How beautiful. Something in
Kitna
the
sundar hai.
way she smiles.
Okay, shall I continue with Antya Lila, chapter 3?
Yes, please do.
Okay. I bow to the revered lotus feet of my Guru, and to my Gurus, and to Vaishnavas, and to Sri Rupa, with Jiva, with the Raghunaths, and with his elder brother. And I bow to Krishna Chaitanya, together with his followers, and to Nityananda and Advaita, and to the feet of Sri Radha and Krishna, and to her two companions, Lalita and Vishaka. Glory, glory to Gaurachandra, glory to Nityananda, glory to Advaita Chandra, and to the hosts of Gaura Bhaktas. At Purushottam there was a son of an Arya Brahmin. He had no father, and he was greatly beautiful and of sweet disposition. He would come to Goswami every day and make obeisance, and he would talk with Prabhu, and Prabhu was his life. And Prabhu loved him and was gracious toward him. Damodar was not able to bear this love, so again and again he forbade the Brahmana boy to come. But the latter could not stand to live if he did not see Prabhu, so every day he would come, and Prabhu loved him very much. Where they are loved, there they come. Such is the way of boys. Seeing this, Damodar was greatly pained in his heart, and he could not speak, for the boy would not obey his prohibitions. One day the boy came to Goswami, and Goswami affectionately asked him about various things. And after a time, the boy rose up and went away. And unable to bear it, Damodar began to speak. He is learned in giving instructions to others, and he is called a Goswami. Goswami, Goswami. Now we will know what kind of Goswami he is. Now all the people will sing of the beauty and qualities of Goswami, and then Goswami will be famous in Purushottam. When he heard this, Prabhu said, "What do you mean, Damodar?" And Damodar replied, "You are the non-dependent Ishvara. You act as you wish, and who can gainsay it? But can you stop the mouths of the foul-mouthed world? You are a pandit, But you don't consider this. Why do you show such affection to the son of a Brahmana widow? Even though the Brahmana woman is ascetic and chaste, still she has a fault. She is young and beautiful. You are also young and very handsome. You give people an opportunity to gossip. So saying, Damodar was silent, and delighted, Goswami smiled inwardly and decided. He has said this in a way of pure prema. There is no one who loves me as Damodar does. And having decided that, Prabhu rose up to perform the midday rituals. The next day, he summoned Damodar to him privately. Prabhu said, Damodar, go to Nadia, and when you get there, remain near my mother. I see no other protector for her apart from you. Because of that, you gave me warning. Among my people there is none as impartial as you, and if one is not impartial, Dharma is not protected. What cannot be had from me can be had from you. You have punished me, not to speak of others. So go and remain in my mother's house, at my mother's feet. Before you, no one will behave as they like.
Guna, can I just interrupt for a second?
Yes.
Just because it might not be so clear. This is not Swarup Damodar he's talking to. It's Damodar Pandit. They're two different persons.
Okay. Thank you, Madam. But come from time to time to see me, though you should quickly return there again. Convey to my mother a crore of my obeisances. Tell her words of my happiness, and thus give her happiness. Say, to cause you to hear constantly stories of himself, Prabhu has sent me here to you. And when you tell her this, much delight will be born in her mind. And too, cause her to reflect upon this secret thing. Again and again I come to your house and eat all those delicious curries. I eat them, and you know that, but outwardly, in your agony of separation, you consider it a dream. On the past Magha Sankranti, you prepared various pitas and curries and kheer and payasa. When you had made the food offering to Krishna, you went to meditate. My image was before you, and tears filled your eyes. I went with great commotion and ate everything, and seeing that I had eaten, you were very happy. After a while, wiping away your tears, you saw that the leaf was empty. It was as if you had seen a dream that Nimai had eaten the food. In a condition of external viraha, again, you were deluded, and you began to think that you had not prepared the food. You saw the cooking vessels. They were all filled with rice. And again, having purified the place, you began to prepare another food offering. In this way, again and again, I ate. By your pure prema, I am attracted. It is by your command that I am at Nilachal, and by the power of your prema, I am taken near you. In this way, again and again, cause her to remember, in my name, bow at her feet. So saying, he had prasad of Jagannath brought, and he gave him some separately for the Vaishnavas, and some to give to his mother. Then Damodar set off and came to Nadia, and greeting the mother, he remained at her feet. He gave Mahaprasad to the Acharya and to the other Vaishnavas. The Pandit did that which Prabhu had commanded. Before Damodar, no one acted unrestrainedly, for all had fear of him and behaved diffidently. When he saw in any of Prabhu's people the least transgression of honour, he reprimanded him, and thus honour was maintained. So Prabhu's reprimanding by Damodar had been told, and in the hearing of it, ignorance and impiousness are driven away. The Lila of Chaitanya is deeper than the core of seas. For what reason he did anything, no one can understand. Thus, I know nothing at all of the deep meaning, and thus deficiently I gave the external meaning. One day, Prabhu met Haridas, and in the course of conversation he asked him, Haridas, in the Kali age, Yavanas are innumerable. They injure cows and brahmanas and do very evil things. How will all of these be saved? Not seeing the means for that, my sorrow is profound. And Haridas answered, Prabhu, do not be concerned. Look at the world of the Yavanas and do not reflect sadly, for all the Yavanas will be easily freed. They say, Haram, Haram, and thus speak a semblance of the name. In profound praying, Bhaktas say, Ha, Rama, Ha, Rama. See the good fortune of the Yavanas, that they take the name, even though the meaning is different, and though the intention of the name is other, still the power of the name is unconquerable. So there's a sloka from the Shringa Purana. Wounded by a boar's tusk, a mlecha will again and again shout Harama, and thus gains release. What then of him who sings the name with faith? Ajamil called his son Narayan, thus bringing the messenger of Vishnu, who freed him from his bonds. The two syllables of Rama are not separate, and the word Ha, uttered in praying, is an ornament to them. This is the nature of all the syllables of the name, that even if they are separated, they do not lose their own power. So from Gopal Bhatta Goswami's Hari Bhakti Vilas. One name, uttered by anyone, or sent along the path of memory, or heard, whether purely or impurely pronounced, or whether they are separated or not, that truly brings salvation. If that is cast among impious people who are attached to greed for people and wealth and the body, O Brahmana, only then is it not quickly fruitful. From a hint of the name is the destruction of all sins. So from Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, even a touch of the sun of his name, risen in the cavern of the heart, destroys the darkness of all great sins. O storehouse of qualities, so worship sincerely and constantly him who is the diadem of greatest fame, most delectable to those whose minds glow with faith, purifier even of the pure. End quote. From a hint of the name is the destruction of samsara. There's a quote from Bhagavad Purana. Even Ajamil, at the time of his death, pretending to call his son, pronounced the name of Hari and gained the Dham. What is to be said of others who take the name in faith? End quote. In the hint of the name is mukti, and this is seen in all the Shastras. The witness of this is Ajamil in the Bhagavat. Hearing this, delight pervaded Mahaprabhu's heart, and again, as a trick, he asked him, On the earth there are many jivas, moving and unmoving. What kind of release is there for all of these? And Haridas said, Prabhu, toward whom is your mercy? Formerly you saved the moving and unmoving creatures. You made Sankirtan loudly, and creatures moving and unmoving heard it. And even while they listened, for creatures that move, samsara was destroyed, and the sound struck the unmoving, and from that an echo arose. But it was not an echo, for they were singing kirtan. This story of your mercy cannot be told. The whole world was filled with loud Sankirtan, and hearing it, creatures moving and unmoving danced in an ecstasy of praying. Such you did in Jarikhanda while going to Vrindavan. Balabhadra Bhattacharya has told it to me, and how Vasudev petitioned on behalf of Jivas, and then you promised that Jivas would be freed. Your avatar is to save the world, and you have promised that before your Bhaktas. To that end, you have propagated loud Sankirtan, and you have cut the ties of samsara for unmoving and moving Jivas. Prabhu said, when all Jivas will be freed, will this Brahma world be totally empty? And Haridas said, while you are in the mortal state, so all the kinds of Jivas, moving and unmoving, you will send to Vaikuntha, having released them all. And again, you will arouse karma in subtle Jivas, and those Jivas will become here, moving and unmoving. And in that way, you will fill the Brahma world as before. For as Raghunath took all of Ayodhya and went to Vaikuntha, and Ayodhya was filled with other Jivas, now you have appeared and have spread out a market, and no one understands this profound play. So formerly, Krishna took avatar in Vraj and broke the samsara of all the Jivas of the Brahma worlds. So from Bhagavat Purana, from whom this creation gains release, concerning this Ishvara of Yogeshwaras, this Bhagavat Sri Krishna, free from birth, this should not be a matter of wonder to you. And from Vishnu Purana, this Bhagavan seen, praised, remembered, even by him devoted to malice, gives fruit hard to gain, even by Suras and Asuras. What then of those who are deeply devoted to him? End of quote. So you have taken avatar in Navadvip and have saved the Jivas of all the Brahma worlds. He who says, the greatness of Chaitanya is perceived by me, let him think that way. Again, for me, only this is certain, of your shoreless ocean of nectar of infinite greatness, not one drop is in my heart or in my speech. When he heard this, Prabhu was astonished inwardly. How does Haridas know the profundities of this Leela of mine? And delighted in his heart, he embraced him. But he forbade all this to be publicly circulated. The nature of Ishvara is that he wants to hide his divinity, but he was not able to hide it from the Bhaktas, and they understood. So from Yamunacharya's Stotaratna, the possibility of being superior or equal to the three limitations is hidden by your Maya, but certainly ones single-mindedly devoted to you remain gazing on the true form of your divinity. End of quote. Then Mahaprabhu went to join his own Bhaktas, and he spoke of the qualities of Haridas as if with 100 mouths. To speak of the qualities of his Bhaktas gave Prabhu great pleasure, and in that the best of his Bhaktas was Sri Haridas. The qualities of Haridas are innumerable and unparalleled. Some of them have been described in part, but their limit has not been reached. Sri Vrindavan Das in the Chaitanya Mangala has revealed some of the qualities of Haridas. It is impossible to tell all, for the deeds of Haridas are endless. He who tells a little of them purifies himself. Those which Vrindavan Das has not described, here, O Bhaktas, some of those qualities of Haridas. When Haridas abandoned his own home, he remained many days in the forests of Benapola. He was alone in the forest, and he made a hut and served the Tulsi and recited in kirtan night and day 3 lakhs of names. He lived by begging at the houses of brahmanas, and because of his glory, all the people worshipped him. The ruler of that country was called Ramachandra Khan. He had malice towards Vaishnavas and was a greatly impious man. He could not bear the worship of the people towards Haridas, and he devised many schemes to degrade him. In no way did Haridas have any fault, so as a way of degrading him, he had prostitutes brought. He said to the prostitutes, "This Haridas is an ascetic. All of you destroy the dharma of his asceticism." Among the prostitutes there was one who was young and beautiful, and she said, "In 3 days' time I shall have stolen his mind." And Khan said, "Let my footmen go with you, and when he unites with you, they will seize him and bring him here." The prostitute said, "The first time I will go without companions. The second, I shall take your footmen to seize him." In the night time, that prostitute put on beautiful clothes and went joyfully to the dwelling place of Haridas. Bowing to the Tulsi, she went to the door of Haridas, and bowing to the Goswami, she remained standing there. Uncovering her body and showing him, she sat down in the door and began to say in a most melodious voice, "O Thakur, you are most handsome, and in the blush of youth, seeing you, how could any woman contain herself? My mind is greedy for union with you, and if I do not have you, there is no reason to live any more." Haridas said, "I shall make you that promise, but my recitation of the number of the names of Krishna is still not finished. You sit there and listen to the Nam Sankirtan until it is. When I have finished the names, I shall do what you wish." Hearing this, the prostitute remained seated, and Haridas made kirtan until the morning. Seeing that it was morning, the prostitute arose, and going to Khan, she told him everything. "Today he has given me his promise. Tomorrow I will certainly have union with him." The next day, in the evening, the prostitute came, and Haridas encouraged her much. "Yesterday you were sorrowed, but I will not offend you. That I shall certainly promise you. Now sit here and listen to the Nam Sankirtan, and when the names have been fulfilled, then your wish will also be fulfilled." So the prostitute made obeisance to him and to the Tulsi, and sat in the doorway and listened to the names. And she said, "Hari, Hari." The end of the night came, and the prostitute was very restless, and seeing her condition, Haridas said to her, "I make a sacrifice of taking 1 crore of names every month. This vow I have made, and I am coming to the end of it. Today it will be completed," was my thought, and although I took names the whole night long, I was unable to complete it. Today it will be complete, and my vow will be fulfilled. Then I shall have intercourse with you, as you desire. So the prostitute went and told this to the Khan, and the next day in the evening came to the place of Thakur. Bowing to Thakur and to the Tulsi, she sat in the doorway and listened to the names, saying, "Hari, Hari." "The names will certainly be finished today," said Haridas, "and today I shall fulfill your desire." And while he was still at Kirtan, the end of the night came, and in the company of the Thakur, the prostitute's mind was turned. Bowing deeply, she fell at the feet of the Thakur and humbly told him the story of Ramachandra Khan. As a prostitute, I have committed infinite sins. Be merciful and save me, wretched as I am. Thakur said, I know all about the Khan. He is ignorant and stupid, so I do not take offence from him. That day, when you came, I was going to go from this place, but I remained for 3 more days to save you. The prostitute said, Be gracious and instruct me. What should I do, that the agonies of samsara pass from me? Thakur said, Give the goods of your house to a Brahmana, then come to this house and remain here. Take the name incessantly and serve the tulsi, and quickly you will gain the feet of Krishna. So saying, instructing her about the name, the Thakur rose up and went away, saying, Hari, Hari. So the prostitute took the orders of her guru, and she gave whatever there was in her house to a Brahmana. She shaved her head and remained with one cloth in that house, and night and day she took the name 3 lakhs of times. She served the tulsi and fasted, only chewing, and as she controlled her senses, praying manifested itself. She became a famous Vaishnava, a very great person, and many great Vaishnavas went to have darshan of her. And seeing the actions of the prostitute, the people were astonished, and they spoke of the greatness of Haridas and made obeisance. Ramchandra Khan sowed the seed of offence, and that seed became a tree and soon bore fruit. The fruit of offence to a great man is a matter wonderful to relate. Let me tell of it here. Listen, you Bhaktas. By nature, Ramchandra Khan was anti-Vaishnava, and in his offence to Haridas, he was like an asura. He condemned the Vaishnav Dharma, and he showed contempt for Vaishnavas. And because of his offences of many days, he reaped the consequences. When Nityananda Goswami came to Gauda, he began to wander about, preaching, praying, and trampling the impious. The Avadut wandered about with these 2 purposes. All-knowing, Nityananda came to his house, and coming there, he sat upon the Durga Mandapa. He had many people with him, and they filled the courtyard, and from within the house, Ramachandra Khan sent servants. And the servants said, Goswami, the Khan has sent us to arrange for you to stay in the home of a householder. At the house of the milkman there is a cowshed which is very large. This place is very small, and there are many people with you. He was within the courtyard, and when he heard this, he came outside angrily, and roaring with laughter, the Goswami began to say, He speaks truly. This house is not fit for me. It is fit for mlechas to murder cows. So saying, the Goswami rose up and went off angrily, and to punish him, he did not remain in the village. Now Ramchandra Khan gave an order to his servant that where Goswami had sat the earth should be dug away, and all the courtyard of the temple cleansed with cow dung and water. And still Ramchandra was not satisfied. Ramachandra was a thief, and he did not pay his tax. Because of that, the Mlecha Ujjira, being angry, went to his house. Going there, he lived in the Durga Mandapa, and he killed things that should not be killed, and he cooked the meat in that place. He kept Ramachandra with his wife and his sons captive, and he remained in the house for 3 days, looting the village. In that house for 3 days he cooked forbidden things, and the next day he took everything and went away. So the people and wealth and caste of Khan all were destroyed. and for a long time the village remained deserted. So it is in the village and in the country where there is disrespect to a great man by the fault of a single man, the whole country is ruined. So Haridas Thakur travelled to Chandapura, and coming there he remained at the house of Balaramacharya. There were two men, Hiranya and Govardhan, who were Majumdars of the kingdom, and the name of their Purohita was Balaram. He was a receptacle of the grace of Haridas, for he was devoted to bhakti. He kept Thakur in that village with great care. He made kirtan by himself in a thatched-roofed cottage, and he took his food at the house of Balaramacharya. Raghunath Das was a boy, a student, and he would go to see Haridas Thakur, and the grace of Haridas was upon him. It was because of that grace that he gained Chaitanya. The stories of the greatness of Haridas in that place, O Bhaktas, are wonderful. Let me tell one. One day, Balaram entreated him humbly and took him to the court of the Majumdars. When they saw Thakur, the two brothers arose out of respect, and touching his feet, they gave him a seat and paid him respect. There were many pandits there in the court, and brahmanas and holy men. These two brothers, Hiranya and Govardhan, were great pandits. They all spoke of the qualities of Haridas, as if with 5 mouths, and when they heard it, the two brothers were greatly delighted. Thakur made kirtan with 3 lakhs of names, and among the pandits the question of the greatness of the name arose. And some said, from the name is the destruction of sins, and others said, from the name is the release of jivas, and Haridas said, these are not the 2 fruits of the name. In the fruit of the name is the arising of praying to the feet of Krishna. So from the Bhagavad Purana, the man, thus aroused, his affection inspired by his own Nam Sankirtan, with spinning thoughts like a madman, transported beyond the world of men, sometimes laughs out loud, sometimes weeps, sometimes cries out, and sometimes sings and dances. End quote. The destruction of sins and mukti are secondary results of the name. An example of it is in the manifestation of the sun. So from Pajavali. As the sun does to the sea of the darkness, so one pronunciation of the name of Hari, beneficent to the world, conquers all the sins of men. End of quote. Explain, O Pandits, the meaning of this shloka. But all said, you explain the meaning. And Haridas said, it is as the rising of the sun. While the sun is still not risen, the darkness begins to be dispelled, as do fear and terror of thieves and ghosts and rakshasas. And when the sun rises, there are manifested auspicious things, and the doing of that which is proper. So at the beginning of the rising of the name, sins and the rest are dispelled, and when it is risen, there is the manifestation of praying at the feet of Krishna. Mukti is an insignificant result from a hint of the name. From Bhagavad Purana. Even Ajamil, at the time of his death, pretending to call his son, pronounced the name of Hari and gained the Dharma. What is to be said of others who take the name in faith? End of quote. Bhaktas do not take that mukti, but Krishna wishes to give it. And again, even if I myself am prepared to give it, my people do not take to Salokya, Sarshti, Sarupya, Samipya, or Ekatva without serving me. End quote. There was a Brahmana there by the name of Gopal Chakravarti, and he was head collector at the house of the Majumdars. He remained in Gauda, and he paid the taxes to the Badshah, and he sent 12 lakhs of coins every year to the Badshah. He was young and a pandit and very handsome, and when he heard a hint of the name gives mukti, he could not bear it. Angry, he said these fierce words, "You listen, O pandits, to the theories of this emotionalist, that mukti, which does not appear in the knowledge of Brahma in a crore of births, he says is in a hint of the name." Then Haridas said, "Why do you doubt it? The Shastras say that mukti is in only a hint of the name. And compared to the happiness of bhakti, mukti is most insignificant. Thus, bhaktas do not touch mukti." From Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. O Guru of the world, for me who has been established in the pure sea of the joy of the realization of your true form, even that happiness of dwelling in the place of Brahma is like a tiny puddle of water in the imprint of a cow's hoof. End quote. The Brahmana said, "If there is no mukti in a hint of the name, then you cut off your nose, make this promise." And Haridas said, "If there is no mukti in a hint of the name, then I shall cut off my nose, that is for certain." Then all the people in the court laughed, and the Majumdars reproached that Brahmana. Balai Purohita rebuked him, saying, "You are a foolish hair splitter. What do you know of bhakti? You have insulted Haridas Thakur. Everything of yours will be destroyed, and you will gain no welfare." When he heard this, Haridas rose up and went away, and the Majumdars let that Brahmana go. With everyone, they fell at the feet of Haridas, and Haridas smiled and said in a gentle voice, "What is your fault in this? He is an ignorant Brahmana, and he also has no fault in this, for his mind is attached to philosophical dispute. The greatness of the name is not perceived by logic. From where would he know all these truths? Go home, and may the blessing of Krishna be on you all. Let no one be grieved because of me." Then that Hiranyadas went to his own home, and he closed his door to that Brahmana. Within 3 days, that Brahmana became a leper. His long nose melted and fell off. His fingers and toes, which had been like champaka and kalika buds, shriveled up and melted in his leprosy. When they saw it, all the people were struck with wonder, and they praised Haridas and made obeisance to him. Even though Haridas did not find fault with the Brahmana, Ishvara made him suffer the fruits of it. The nature of a bhakta is to forgive a fault committed because of ignorance, and the nature of Krishna is not to be able to bear an insult to his bhaktas. When he heard of the leprosy of the Brahmana, Haridas was saddened, and having spoken of it to Purohita Balai, he came to Shantipur. Meeting the Acharya, he bowed and paid his respects, and Advaita embraced him and paid him respect. He built a hut on the bank of the Ganga and gave it to him to dwell in alone, and caused him to listen to the meaning of bhakti according to the Bhagavad Gita. He ate every day at the house of the Acharya, and the two of them together tasted the stories of Krishna. Haridas said, "Goswami, I ask you humbly, Why do you give me rice every day? Here there are many very great Brahmanas of highest families, and I am lowly and humble. Do you not feel fear and shame? Your actions are not of this world, and I feel fear in speaking of them, that you would show me such mercy, by which I am protected. The Acharya said, You should not fear, for that which I do is according to the Shastras. If you eat, there is the feeding of a crore of Brahmanas. And so saying, he gave him a Shraddha plate to eat. And he reflected on the salvation of the world. How would the non-Vaishnava world be saved? The Acharya resolved to bring an avatar of Krishna, so he began to perform puja with water and the tulsi. And Haridas, in his hut, made Nam Sankirtan that Krishna would take an avatar. This was his wish. So because of the bhakti of these two, Chaitanya made his descent, and propagating the name and praying, he saved the world. Dina, would you like to continue?
Certainly.
So beautiful, Guna. It was, that story was waiting in time and space for you to recite it. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was. It's really, really good. I mean, phew, thank you so much.
Dina, do you know where we are?
Didn't you finish chapter 3?
No, I'm just on page 823, and I've just got to verse 214. I didn't finish the whole chapter.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just got slightly distracted there.
I can finish it if you want.
Yeah, just finish the chapter, yeah. It's nice to complete a whole chapter. It's great.
Another unworldly deed of his there is, in the hearing of which people are astonished. Do not indulge in argument about it, for it is beyond the perception of logic, but hear it with faith and with trust. One day, Haridas was sitting in his hut, making Nam Sankirtan in a loud voice. The night was bright, with light of moon and stars, and all the 10 directions were pure and clear, and the waves of the Ganga were glittering in the light. The tulsi at the door was on the cleansed pindi. When they saw the beauty of the cottage, the hearts of people were refreshed. At that time, a woman came into the courtyard, and the place became golden and glowing by radiance of her body. By the perfume of her body, everything all around was charmed, and the ears were thrilled by the sound of her ornaments. Approaching, she made obeisance to the tulsi, and having circumambulated the tulsi, she went to the door of the hut. With palms together, she bowed to the feet of Haridas, and sitting in the doorway, she said to him in a gentle voice, You possessed of qualities and beauty are praiseworthy in the world. I have come for union with you. Be kind and promise me, for being kind to lowly people is the nature of a holy man. So saying, she manifested various emotions in such a way that in seeing it, the steadfastness of a Muni would be destroyed. But Haridas was unshaken, for his heart was grave, and gently he began to say to her, The Sankirtan of a number of names, I have determined on this as a great sacrifice, and I have vowed to do this every day. As long as the kirtan is unfinished, I can have no other desire, but when the kirtan is finished, then the vow will be completed. So sit in the doorway and listen to the Nam Sankirtan. When the names are finished, I shall make love with you. So saying, he made Nam Sankirtan, and the woman sat there and listened to the names. And while the kirtan was going on, morning came, and seeing that it was morning, the woman got up and left. In this way, the third day came, and she showed many emotions by which the mind of Brahma would be stolen, but the mind of Haridas was always attached to the name of Krishna, and the manifestation of her womanly passion was weeping in the forest. On the third day, when the end of the night came, the woman began to speak to Thakur. For 3 days you have cheated me, giving me false hope, and night and day there is no conclusion to these names of yours. Haridas Thakur said, "What can I do? I have settled on something. How can I abandon it?" Then the woman made obeisance to him and said, "I am Maya, and I have come to test you. I have enchanted everything, Jivas, Brahma, and the rest. You alone I could not enchant. You are a great Bhagavat, and in darshan of you, and in hearing your kirtan of the Krishna name, my mind is purified and wants to take the name of Krishna. So be gracious to me and instruct me in the Krishna name." In the Chaitanya avatar is a flood of the nectar of prem. All jivas float in prem, and the earth is blessed. That miserable jiva who does not float in this flood will never be saved in a crore of kalpas. Formerly, I got the Ram name from Shiva, but I had a desire to take the Krishna name from you. The name of Ram is the source of mukti, and so is the rescuer. But the name of Krishna is that which takes one across and gives the gift of prem. So give me the Krishna name, and I shall serve it. Give me the blessing. Make me float upon that flood of prem. So saying, she bowed to the feet of Haridas, and Haridas said, "Perform Krishna Sankirtan." Receiving this instruction and delighted, Maya went away. Not everyone will believe these stories, but let me tell a reason for belief in them, and in the hearing of it, faith will appear in everyone. Enticed by the prem of Krishna in the Chaitanya avatar, Brahma, Shiva, Sanaka, and the rest took birth upon the earth. They took the name of Krishna and danced and floated on the flood of prem, and Narada and Prahlad came and were manifested in human form. Lakshmi and the others, all enticed by the prem of Krishna, were born in human form and tasted the prem in the name. What of others? Brajendra Nandana himself, in avatar, tasted the prem ras. What then is the wonder in the devotee Maya begging for prem? For apart from the name and the mercy of holy men, there is no prem. This is the nature of the Lila of Chaitanya Goswami, that the 3 worlds, transformed by prem, dance and sing. Krishna and the rest, all things moving and unmoving, drunk with the prem of Krishna, make Sankirtan to him. Svarup Goswami has written of this Leela in his Kadacha, and I have heard it all from the mouth of Raghunath Das. I have written about all these Leelas only in brief, for I am an insignificant jiva and write only by the grace of Chaitanya. So has been told the story of the greatness of Haridas Thakur, and in hearing it, the ears of Bhaktas are soothed. Krishnadas, whose hope and faith lie at the feet of Rupa and Raghunath, tells of the nectar of the acts of Chaitanya, the Chaitanya Charitamrta. Ends chapter 3.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hey,
That was Hari Bol.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Interesting, there was a mention of Haridas Thakur visiting Chandrapur, and I went there with the Padayatra in Bangladesh.
Where,
Chandrapur.
yeah, but where is that?
It's from Jessore, you go to Chandrapur to go across one of the main rivers to go across over to the side of Feni,
Okay.
going
And
towards Chittagong.
anytime I hear the name Benapol, I am transported to that. If anybody doesn't know, there's Haridaspur,
Mhm.
Benapol are the two different sides on the border between India and Bangladesh,
That's it.
isn't it? I mean, and Benapol's Bangladesh, or is it India?
Benapol is in Bangladesh.
And Haridaspur is in India.
Yeah.
It's in the Indian side.
Yeah, it's on
So
the
can you
Indian side.
imagine it's between the Muslim man and the Hindu man? Isn't that outrageous? And it's a forest kind of, isn't it? I remember it. It's a very, because you go there when you're a devotee. It's so iconic, Haridaspur. It's one of the places, and it's on the border. And anyway, Haridas Thakur.
Let's get back to
Yeah, please.
the place, Jai. So, reading on the Antya Lila, chapter 4, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Brinda. From death did Sri Gaura save Sri Sanatan, who had returned from Vrindavan, controlling him with affection, and then he purified him by examination. When Rupa had glory to Sri Chaitanya, glory to Nityananda, glory to Advaita Chandra, and to the hosts of Gaura Bhaktas. When Rupa had gone from Nilachala to Gauda, Sanatan came to Nilachala from Mathura. He came along the Jarikanda path, sometimes fasting and sometimes chewing. From his severe fasting and from the waters of the Jarikand, his body broke out and pus ran from the sores. But he was indifferent, and he reflected as he went along the path. I am low-born. This body of mine is entirely worthless. If I go to Jagannath, I will not get darshan of him, and I shall never be able to have darshan of Mahaprabhu. I have heard that he is dwelling near the temple, and it is not in my power to go near the temple. The servants of Jagannath will turn me away, according to their duty, and if I touch them, I shall commit a great offense. So, if I leave this body in a holy place, I would have peace from this pain and gain the blessed state. Jagannath will come outside during the car festival. I shall abandon this body under the wheels of the car. Before Mahaprabhu, if Jagannath is looking on, I shall leave this body under the car. This is the highest end of man. So, having determined this, he came to Nilachala, and asking directions of people, he reached the place of Haridas. He bowed to the feet of Haridas. Haridas, recognizing him, embraced him. His mind was very agitated to see Mahaprabhu. Knowing this, Haridas said, Prabhu will come here. And at that very time, Prabhu, who had gone to see the Upalabhog, came with his bhaktas to meet Haridas. When they saw Prabhu, both fell prostrate at his feet. Prabhu raised Haridas up and embraced him. And Haridas said, Sanatan makes obeisance. When he saw Sanatan, Prabhu was astonished. Prabhu came forward to embrace Sanatan, but Sanatan backed away and said, Do not touch me, Prabhu. I fall at your feet. I am a low and vile person, and now there are sores on my body. But by force, Prabhu embraced him, and the oozings from the sores touched the holy body of Mahaprabhu. Prabhu introduced Sanatan to all the bhaktas, and Sanatan bowed to the feet of them all. With all of them, Prabhu sat upon the pinda, and Haridas and Sanatan sat at the foot of it. Mahaprabhu asked about Sanatan's well-being, and he replied, It is most wonderful that now I have seen your feet. And he asked of the welfare of the Goswamis, of Vaishnavas at Mathura, Sanatan informed him that all was well with them. Prabhu said, Rupa was here for 10 months. Just 10 days ago he left here for Gouda. Your brother Anupama has died. It was well, for his bhakti to Raghunath was very profound. Sanatan said, my birth was in a low family. The dharma of my family has been adharma and anya. Leaving aside hatred for such a family, you promised us that by your grace my family would be blessed. The brother of Anupama, from the time of his boyhood, has worshipped Raghunath with profound devotion. Day and night he meditated on the name of Raghunath, and he constantly listened and sang the Ramayana. Rupa and I are his elder brothers, and he remained with us both at all time. Altogether, we listened to the stories of Krishna and to the Bhagavat, and we too tested him. Listen, O Vallabh, Krishna is the highest sweetness. His beauty and sweetness and his prem vilas are vast. So worship Krishna with us. We 3 brothers together will remain in the light of the stories of Krishna. In this way we would talk to him again and again, and out of regard for us too, his mind was turned a little bit. Shall I transgress so much the commands of you both? Give me the Diksha mantra, and I shall worship Krishna. So he said, but in the night time he reflected, how can I abandon the feet of Raghunath? And all night long he remained awake weeping. And in the morning he entreated us both. I have sold my head to the feet of Raghunath. I cannot snatch my head away, and I am greatly pained. Be kind, both of you. Give me your permission to serve in birth after birth, the feet of Raghunath. The lotus feet of Raghunath cannot be left. When I think of leaving them, my breath leaves my body. Then we both embraced him and praised him, saying, your bhakti is profound and pure. Thus you have given a tiny bit of your mercy to our family. All are blessed by it, and all pain has been cut away. Goswami said, in the same way was a Murari Gupta. Previously I tested him, and he felt this same way. That Bhakta is blessed, who does not abandon the feet of his Prabhu, and that Prabhu is blessed, who does not abandon his own people. And if by ill chance his servant goes to some other place, that blessed Thakur seizes him and drags him back by the hair. It is good that you have come here. Remain here in the house with Haridas. Both of you are foremost in the ras of Krishna Bhakti. Taste the ras of Krishna. Take the name of Krishna. So saying, Mahaprabhu arose and went away, and he sent prasad for both of them by means of Govinda. In this way, Sanatan remained at the place of Prabhu, and seeing the wheels of the car of Jagannath, he bowed in respect. Prabhu came every day to meet with both of them, and they both spoke for some time in pleasant conversation about Krishna. And every day he got holy prasad from the temple of Jagannath, and coming there, he gave it to them both every day. One day, Prabhu came and met them both. Suddenly he began to speak to Sanatan. Sanatan, Krishna is not gained by those who abandon their bodies. Otherwise, tens of millions would give up their bodies every instant. We do not gain Krishna by abandonment of the body, but by worship. There is no other means of gaining Krishna except bhakti. Abandoning the body, etc., is the dharma of tamas, but in the dharma of rajas, tamas, the feet of Krishna not attained. Apart from bhakti, praying towards Krishna never arises, and except for praying, there is no other means of gaining Krishna. Quoting from the Bhagavad Purana, 11.14.20. O Uddhava, only that very powerful bhakti toward me is able to compel me. I am not compelled by yoga, sankhya, dharma, Vedic study, tapas, or renunciation. End of quote. Abandoning the body is the dharma of tamas, and is the cause of falling. By it, the sadhak does not gain the feet of Krishna. The truly loving bhakta, in separation, wants to abandon his body, but in love, Krishna joins him, and he is not able to die. Separation for one who is profoundly loving cannot be borne. In that condition, the one who loves desires his own death. Quoting the Bhagavad Purana 10:52-43. O lotus-eyed one, great ones like Umapati desire to bathe in the dust of your lotus feet, to dispel the darkness of the soul. If I cannot gain that grace of yours, then emaciated with the vratas of asceticism, I shall abandon all life and gain it after 100 births. End of quote. Then we have 10:29-38. O Anga, the burning desire which is born in us by your sweet song and your smiling glance, sprinkle on it the stream of the nectar of your lips. Otherwise, O friend, we shall burn our bodies in the fire of separation's anguish. By meditation shall go near to your feet. End of quote. So abandon this ill-conceived notion and listen to Kirtan, and quickly you will gain the feet of Krishna. It is not because of low caste that one is unfit for the worship of Krishna. A Brahmana of pure family is not necessarily fit for worship. He who worships is great. Non-bhakta is low and worthless. There is no consideration of caste, family, and such in Krishna worship. Bhagavan is more merciful to the lowly than to one who is full of pride in his wealth, learning, and family. Quoting Bhagavad Purana 7:9-10. I consider a swapacha, dog eater, whose mind, speech, efforts, wealth, and life are devoted to him, to be better than a Brahmana, who, though he possesses the 12 qualities, has his face averted from the lotus-footed, lotus-naveled one. Such a one purifies his family, but the prideful one does not. End of quote. And the best kinds of worship are the 9 kinds of bhakti. They contain the great power to give Krishna and Krishna prema. And among them, the best of all is Nam Sankirtanam. From the name, without offences to the name, comes the wealth of prema. When he heard this, Sanatan was astonished. Prabhu does not like it that I have decided on my death. Mahaprabhu is omniscient and has forbidden me. And holding the feet of Prabhu, he said to him, you are the non-dependent Ishvara, omniscient and merciful. As you cause me to dance, so I dance, for I am not self-dependent. But I am low, I am despicable, of mean nature. What would be the purpose of you keeping me alive? Prabhu said, your body is my own wealth. You have dedicated yourself to me. Why do you wish to destroy the goods of another? Can you not discriminate between dharma and adharma? Your body is my chief instrument. With this body I shall attain much that is necessary. The determination of the truths of the bhaktas and bhakti and Krishna prema, and the duties of Vaishnavas and the proper conduct of Vaishnavas, and the establishing of service and Krishna prema, Krishna bhakti, saving of lost pilgrimage places and the teaching of asceticism. Mathura and Vrindavan are places beloved of me, and there I want to propagate all these dharmas. Because of the order of my mother, I live in Nilachal, and it is not within my own power to teach dharma there. So, all these works I shall do with that body. How can I bear it when you want to abandon it? Then Sanatan said, I bow to you. Who can know your profound heart? It is as if by magic a wooden doll is caused to dance, and the doll itself does not know. It only dances and sings. So he whom you cause to dance, dances. He does not know who causes him to dance. Then Prabhu said to Haridas, Haridas, listen. He wants to destroy the property of another. One does not eat or give away the goods entrusted to another. Forbid him to do it, lest he do an unjust thing. And Haridas said, we have vain pride. Who can know your profound heart? You do certain deeds through certain people. If you do not cause him to know, who is able to know? This way you have appropriated him. No one else is fortunate as he. Then Mahaprabhu embraced them both and rose and went to perform his midday rituals. Haridas embraced Sanatan and said, the limit of your good fortune cannot be described. Prabhu has said that your body is my own wealth. There is no one who is as fortunate as you are. Those deeds which he can not do with his own body, he will cause you to do in Mathura. That which Ishvara wants to cause to be done is completed. Your good fortune cannot be described. Determination of proper action and the propagation of the Shastras and the doctrine of Bhakti, these he will cause you to do. His intention is understood. This body of mine has not come into the activities of Prabhu, and it has been useless, born in this land of Bharat. Sanatan said, who else is equal to you? You are the most fortunate among the people of Mahaprabhu. The work of the avatar of Prabhu is the preaching of the name, and that work of his Prabhu has done through you. Each day, you make 3 lakhs of Nam Sankirtanams, and before all, you tell the glory of the name. Some observe these practices in themselves and do not preach, and some preach but do not act properly. You do both these things, observance and preaching of the name. You are the guru of all, to be honored by the whole world. Thus the two conversed in various pleasant ways, remaining together, tasting the stories of Krishna. At the time of the annual celebration, all the bhaktas of Gauda came, as they had before, to have darshan, the car festival. And Prabhu danced before the car. When he saw this, Sanatan was astonished. All the bhaktas remained there for 4 months of the monsoon, and Prabhu had Sanatan join with them all. Adwaita, Nityananda, and Srivas, Vakreshwara, Vasudev, Murari, Raghava, Damodara, Puri, Bharati, Swarup Gadadha Pandit, Sarvabhauma, Ramananda, Jagadananda, Shankara, Kashishwara, Govinda, and the rest. All the people of Prabhu, he caused Sanatan to mingle with them all. Appropriately, he had him bow down to the feet of them all, and he made him the vessel of his grace of them all. Sanatan became, because of his own qualities, because of his wisdom, the vessel of the friendship, or the grace, or the honor of some, as was appropriate. And when all the Vaishnavas went to Gaudadesh, Sanatan remained at the feet of Prabhu. And with Prabhu, he watched the swing festival and the rest, and the rest. And day by day, His joy grew in the company of Prabhu. Sanatan had come in the previous Vaishaka, and it was in the month of Jaista that Prabhu had examined him. In Jaista, Prabhu had come to Yameshwara Tota, and he took food there at the request of the bhaktas. In the middle of the day, when it was time for eating, he had Sanatan called. His joy grew that Prabhu had called him. In the middle of the day, the sands of the sea beach were like fire, but that was the path that Sanatan went along. So delighted was he at heart that Prabhu had summoned him, that he did not know that his feet were burned by the hot sand. His feet blistered as he went to Prabhu. Mahaprabhu was resting after eating, and Govinda gave him the leaf with the remnants of the meal. And when he had received this prasad, Sanatan came to Prabhu's side. Prabhu inquired, "By what path did you come, Sanatan?" And Sanatan said, "I came along the shore." Prabhu said, "How could you come along the hot sands? The path through the lion gate is cool. Why did you not come that way? You have sores on your feet because of the hot sand, and you cannot walk. How did you bear it?" Sanatan replied, "I did not get much pain, and I did not know that there were blisters on my feet. I do not have the right to go through the lion gate, especially as that place is frequented by the servants of the Thakur. At that time, the servants were all coming and going, and if I'd have touched anyone, it would have been a disaster for me." When he heard this, the mind of Mahaprabhu was filled with delight, and being pleased, he began to say to him, "Even though you are the purifier of the world, and by your touch even the devas and the munis are purified, still it is the nature of bhakti to protect honor. And the protection of honor is the ornament of a holy man. People scorn the transgression of honor, and he who transgresses is ruined in this world and in the next. You have preserved honor, and you have made my heart pleased. If you had not done so, what other person would have?" So saying, Prabhu embraced him, and the pus from his sores touched the holy body of Prabhu. Again and again he tried to prevent him, but still he embraced him. And when the pus touched his body, Sanatan was distressed, and Prabhu and his sevak both went home. Next day, Jagadananda met Sanatan, and the two sat together and talked of Krishna. Sanatan in misery entreated the Pandit, "I came here to see Prabhu and to break my misery, but Prabhu does not allow me to do that which I desire. I forbid him, but still Prabhu embraces me, and the pus from my sores touches his body. This is a great offense, and there is no salvation from it. And not seeing Jagannath, my sorrow is endless. I came here for good, but the opposite has happened. I cannot determine what I can do to bring about that good." Here's my nota. Some water. The Pandit said, "Vrindavan is the proper place for you to live. When you have seen the car festival, go there. This was the command of Prabhu to your two brothers. So go to Vrindavan, and there you will gain all happiness. You came for the purpose of seeing the feet of Prabhu, and have done so. When you have seen Jagannath in the car, then leave." Sanatan said, "You have given me good advice. I shall go there, to the country that Prabhu has assigned me." So saying, both arose and went about their own duties, And the next day Mahaprabhu came to meet him. Haridas bowed to the feet of Prabhu. Prabhu embraced Haridas, praying. But Sanatan bowed, extending himself fully prostrate from a distance. Prabhu called him again and again to embrace him, but in fear of offense he did not go to him. So Mahaprabhu went over to join him. But Sanatan drew back, and Mahaprabhu forcibly seized him and embraced him. Then taking the two of them, Mahaprabhu sat on the pinda. Greatly distressed, Sanatan began to say, I came for the purpose of good, but the opposite has happened. For I am not worthy, and each day I commit offense. By nature, I am low-born, evil, and filled with sin. When you touch me, it is an offense for me. The pus which oozes from the sores on my body touches your body, and still by force you touch me. You have not the slightest revulsion to touch a foul thing, but by this offense I am totally destroyed. Nothing good will come of my remaining in this place, so give me your command, that when I have seen the car, I may go to Vrindavan. I asked the advice of Jagadananda Pandit, and he suggested that I go to Vrindavan. When he heard this, Mahaprabhu was furious in his heart, and being angry at Jagadananda, he rebuked him. Jaga, the child of yesterday, now has become so proud that he begins to advise even you. In piety and in actions you are superior to him, and he advises you? He does not know his own worth. You are advisor to me. You are proven worthy of honor. That boy does such things as give instructions to you. Hearing this, Sanatan held the feet of Prabhu and began to say, Today Jagadananda has come to know great good fortune, and today I have become aware of my own misfortune. In the world, there is none as lucky as Jagadananda. You caused Jagadananda to drink the stream of the nectar of being one of your intimate people. You caused me to drink praise and honor, essence of the Nimba and the Nishinda trees, which are bitter. Even now, you do not know me as intimate. I am an unfortunate man, and you are the non-dependent Bhagavan. When he heard this, Mahaprabhu was a little ashamed, and to satisfy him, he began to say, Jagadananda is not more dear to me than you are. I cannot bear the transgression of respect. Where you are proven, learned in the Shastras, Jagai is a young boy, born yesterday. You have the power to teach me. How many times have you caused me to understand bhakti and right conduct? Yet he instructs you. This cannot be borne. This is the reason that I reproached him. I do not praise you because of your external knowledge, but your qualities cause you to be praised, and such indeed is your quality. Even though some hold many people dear to their hearts, even though some hold many people dear to their hearts, in the cases of only some there is a birth of bhav by the nature of love. You feel contempt toward your body, but your body seems to me like the nectar of immortality. Your body is not material. It is never material, but still you perceive it as material. Even if your body were material, I could not neglect it. For in material nature, there is no perception of things as pure or impure. Quoting from Bhagavad Purana 11.28.4. Is there pure or impure within the duality which is insubstantial? Such purity and impurity, as it is called in speech, that is false. Such distinctions are only in the mind. End of quote. Perception of the duality of pure and impure. This is all in the nature of the mind. This is good, and that is bad. All this is error. Quoting Bhagavad Gita 5.18. They are wise who see no difference between the Brahmana endowed with learning and the humility, the cow, the elephant, the dog, and the swapachara. Pandita Samadashina. End of quote. Bhagavad Gita 6.8. Whose soul is satisfied with Gyan and Vigyan, who is indifferent, who has conquered the senses, to whom a lump of earth, a rock, and gold are the same. That yogi is called truly yoked. End of quote. I am a sannyasin. My dharma is to consider all things as the same. Sandalwood paste and mud seem the same to me. For this reason I cannot let you go. For if I felt contempt, my own dharma would disappear. Haridas said, Prabhu, that which you have said is external and misleading. I do not honor it. You have been gracious to us all. You have been gracious to all of us wretched people in propagating your quality of mercy on the lowly. And Prabhu smilingly said, Hear me, Haridas and Sanatan. I speak the inner truth. So my heart is disposed toward you. I consider that you should be reared with care, and I consider myself as the rearer. There is no attribution of fault by the rearer to those who are reared. I consider myself unworthy of honor, and I consider all of you as my children. Just as a mother, when the filth of her son touches her body, is not overcome with revulsion, but gains even more happiness. The filth of the beloved child seems like sandalwood to the mother. So discharge from Sanatan's body does not arouse revulsion in me. And Haridas said, You are Ishvara, full of mercy. The depths of your heart cannot be known. Vasudev had melting leprosy on his body, full of worms, and you mercifully embraced him. And when you had embraced him, his body became like that of Gandharva. Who can understand the waves of your grace? Prabhu replied, The body of a Vaishnava is never material. The body of a bhakta is immaterial, full of chit and anand. At the time of initiation, the bhakta dedicates himself, and at that time, Krishna makes him like himself. Diksha kale Krishna kori bhakta samapam, se kale Krishna kori atma samapam, saman, atma saman. He makes that body full of chit and anand. He worships his feet in this non-material body, quoting Bhagavat Purana 11:29-34. When a mortal leaves all karma and dedicates himself to me, I wish to change him. He gains immortality and is fit to become like myself. Krishna has made these pustules break out of the body of Sanatan, and he has sent him here to test me. If I had contempt for him and I did not embrace him, I would gain from Krishna punishment for that offense. This is the body of a follower. It does not stink. From the first day I gained from his body the perfume of sandal. And in truth, when Prabhu embraced him, at his touch the odor was like sandalwood. Prabhu said, Sanatan, do not consider sorrow. At your embrace I have gained great happiness. Remain here with me for this year, and at the end of the year I shall send you to Vrindavan. And so saying, he embraced him again. The pustules disappeared, and his body became like gold. When he saw this, Haridas was astonished, and he said to Prabhu, This is a trick of yours. You have made him drink that water at Jharkhand with the aim, through that water, of causing him to break out in sores. Through those sores, you were testing Sanatan. No one knows the tricks of this Leela of yours. Embracing them both, Prabhu went to his own house. Both were filled with prem by the qualities of Prabhu. Thus Sanatan stayed at the place of Prabhu and talked with Haridas of the qualities of Krishna Chaitanya. When he had seen the swing festival, Prabhu bade him farewell, that he could go to Vrindavan and teach all those things. When it was time to take leave from the feet of Prabhu, the condition of those two at that separation cannot be described. Along that path which Prabhu had taken to Vrindavan, Sanatan decided to go. Along that path, in whatever villages or rivers or mountains he had Lila. He wrote a description of all these as he heard them from Bhattacharya. He met all the bhaktas of Mahaprabhu. Sanatan went along that path and saw those places. Whatever Leelas Prabhu had along the path, in whatever places, when he saw those places, Sanatan was overcome with praying. In this way, Sanatan came to Vrindavan, and afterwards Rupa Goswami joined him there. For 1 year, Rupa Goswami was delayed in Gauda. He divided and distributed his wealth and property among his kinsmen. That wealth which he had at Gauda, he brought there and distributed to his kinsmen and to brahmanas and to temples. The Goswami, having made known all that was in his heart, settled matters, quickly came to Vrindavan. The two brothers together lived in Vrindavan and together carried out the order of Prabhu. They brought many shastras and recovered lost pilgrimage places and propagated the service of Krishna in Vrindavan. Sanatan wrote the book, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, from which is known the truths of bhakti and the bhakta and Krishna. He wrote the books of Siddhanta Shastra and Dasamatipani, from which are known Prema and the rasa of Krishna Lila. And he wrote the Hari Bhakti Vilas, with rules for the conduct of Vaishnavas, in which the shore of the duties of Vaishnavas is gain. And he wrote with many other books, who can count them all? And he established the service of Madan Gopal and of Govinda. Rupa Goswami wrote the essence of all books, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in which is expounded the ras of Krishna Bhakti. And he wrote another book, Ujjwala Nila Mani by name, in which one gains the shore of the rasa of the Leela of Radha and Krishna. He wrote Vigdagda Madhava and Lalita Madhava, the twin dramas wherein the rasa of the play of Krishna can be fully experienced. He composed a lack of other books, starting with Danakeli Kamodi, and in all those books the rasa of Braj is propounded. And the son of the younger brother, Sri Vallabh Anupama, was a great pandit, whose name was Sri Jiva Goswami. He left everything and came to Vrindavan later. He composed many Bhakti Shastras. He wrote the best of books by names Bhagavat Sandarbha, and in that the shore of the ultimate knowledge of the Bhagavat is reached. He wrote the essence of books, the Gopal Champu, in which he shows the essence of the Leela and Rasa, Prema of Braj. He published the inner truth of Krishna Prem in his Satsandarbha. He distributed 4 lakhs of books. Jiva Goswami went from Gauda to Mathura, having begged leave from Nityananda Prabhu. Prabhu, in love, held his feet on his head and embraced him because of his relationship with Rupa and Sanatan. He gave his command, go quickly to Vrindavan. Prabhu has given that place to your family. So receiving this order he came and reaped the fruits of the command. Writing many shastras, he preached bhakti for a long time. These 3 gurus and Raghunath Das, I their servant, bow to the feet of them all. Thus has been narrated the reunion of Sanatan with Prabhu, and he who hears it knows the purpose of Prabhu. The actions of Chaitanya are like a stick of sugar cane. One tastes the juice as soon as one bites into it. Krishna Das, whose hope and faith lie at the feet of Sri Rupa, Sri Raghunath, tells of the nectar of the acts of Chaitanya and the Chaitanya Charitamrta. Jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Should we stop recording?